When I first heard about law enforcement community services and becoming a chaplain, I thought, why do people do that? And then I saw what we did, and I realized that if we didn't go out and help the hurting when they were hurting the most, nobody else was going to do it. And that's one of the reasons I became a chaplain.
A couple of years ago, I felt like Bob needed a hobby to keep him busy. So I started looking for something for him to do, and I came across the Law Enforcement Community Services, and I just knew he would make a great chaplain. So we went to the next orientation meeting, and when we left, we looked at each other and said, why wouldn't we do it? It's perfect.
Chris and I love to serve as chaplains together. We always volunteer at the same time so we can go out as a couple. What's very satisfying is that we can go together and support each other, but we also get to support those that are in need and those who are in crisis. One of the call-outs that we were trained for were for death notifications for our county coroner. This is one of the most important services that we offer as chaplains because delivering news like this to someone the correct way is vital in helping them begin the healing process. We can't fix or change what has happened, but we can help them through the initial shock and pain.
I was in New York with my son, who was an officer for the NYPD. And we were having a conversation, and my son says, you know what, Dad, you do very well being a chaplain. And I thought about it, and so I came back to Sacramento and started doing some research, some digging around on the internet. And to my surprise, I found a good school that was able to train me. I learned a lot about leadership in the chaplaincy, and also was able to learn how to handle crisis that people are going through and trauma.
Recently, I was called to a homicide where a young man had just been killed, and I was asked to sit with his mother as she heard the news. She was obviously so distraught at hearing that her boy had died, she didn't want to talk to anyone. So I just sat there with her and held her hand. As I was driving home and reflecting on how my partner and I had been there to help that family, I remember thinking that with all the chaos, the lights flashing, the people running around, that mother may not remember what we said or what we did, but she would remember that someone who cared was there with her in her darkest hour.
At Law Enforcement Community Services, we have a school support team that engages with many of our local schools on a regular basis. After a tragic event has happened that has affected the schools in a community and of course the students in that area as well, we go in and work with the students and of course the staff. This could be a local homicide, a suicide, a traffic fatality. Anything that is affecting the community around that school is of course affecting the children as well. So we go in, support the children and the staff, and when we're able to do that is really when the healing can start.
It's a perfect ministry for us to do together. And if you're looking for a volunteer activity to do as a couple and you haven't found quite the right fit for you, I would encourage you to go to an orientation meeting and check out our chaplaincy program. It may be just what you're looking for.
Some people ask why I'm a chaplain, and I really don't know. All I know is that I'm supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be a chaplain. This is my calling, and hopefully it's your calling.